Elevate your cooking. Discover the secret to unforgettable flavors with our handcrafted spice blends. Whether you're grilling, roasting, or creating a quick meal at home, we've got the perfect mix to bring your dishes to life. Today I'll be making a fusion dish, a Scampi Taco. This scampi is made with wine, and so I want to talk about wine just a little bit first. Perhaps you don't understand how wine works, and it's critical if you're going to move to the next level of cooking. Alcohol has an evaporation point of 173 degrees versus water with 212, as we all know. Because it evaporates more quickly, not only does it make a big flame if that's what you want to do, and that somewhat is for show, especially for flambe. What we're trying to do is keep some of the alcohol actually in the food itself. The alcohol is a larger molecule than a water molecule, and it binds itself to fat, somewhat to moisture, but primarily to fats. And as it does, it deepens the flavor. It makes it actually more savory and bridges some of the actual flavor receptors that we have. It bridges the taste receptors, excuse me, it bridges the taste receptors as well as the olfactory receptors. And then, of course, depending on the kind of wine we use, it imparts its own flavor and adds its own amount of fructose sugar and flavor of its own. So that's why we're a little bit careful on the kinds of wine that we use for the kinds of foods that we use. And it's pretty much the same as what you would pair for drinking, a white wine for fishes and chicken and pork, and a red or a port for beef. I'm going to be sauteing the shrimp, and it goes very quickly, so I want to talk about it a little first. I'm going to be using Fattorio Italiano because it has the onion and garlic in it, but it also has some really nice fine herbs in it, and they give an extra dimension to it, of which is probably the typical scampi, or at least in its classic version. This gives a little extra oomph to it, a little more character, and it's quite delicious. To saute, of course, we need to have a hot pot. And let's get this ready, and we'll get ready to saute the shrimp. Because we're cooking shrimp, it cooks very quickly. 3 or 4 minutes is all it's going to take. And we're also going to be adding some wine, and it takes a little while to reduce that. Now, something that I want to bring up about the wine is that it does not completely cook off. However, the amount of alcohol left is certainly nothing to get you inebriated. A bottle of wine is only 12% anyway, about. And then we're only going to be using about an ounce or so. So there's about this much. And then another 60% of the alcohol is going to evaporate off. And so you can see how much alcohol we have. I'm not sure, but I think there might be more alcohol in vanilla ice cream. So anyway, we're going to be sauteing the shrimp in some butter now, and then using the white wine, using the herb blend from Spice Road Designers, and then finish with butter as well. Now, when we finish with butter, we want to use cold butter and continue to keep that moving as long as there's anything that's not melted. As soon as it's all melted, we take it off the heat and serve it. So this is going to go very quickly. I'll try to talk us through how we're doing it, though. I'm going to start with some butter to begin with. And as you can see how that bubbles up, that's where the score starts burning off. And personally, I like to start cooking when there's still some of that score. And keeping the product touching the skillet as much as we can. Now this is white shrimp, so it's not going to turn completely pink, but it will start to turn pink. I about got some in my face. Now this hot plate is probably not quite as hot as your stove at home, so this is going to take a little longer. Not a problem, it'll still cook just fine. It's going to take a couple of minutes longer is all. As you can see, the edges are starting to curl. That's letting us know that the temperature inside is starting to increase. I'm going to add some of the Vittorio Italiano. Doesn't take a lot. There's just a few shrimp here. And shrimp is an odd flavor. It's both pungent and mild at the same time. It's easy to cover up the flavor of shrimp. And you can see that some of this is starting to turn a little pink. We'll give it a minute just more. Oh, you can smell that herb blend. It's wonderful. Many times scampi is made with only parsley, but dry parsley is essentially flavorless. It's just dehydrated hay. Fresh parsley is a different story. It still has formaldehyde, the mentha chemical substrate that gives it some aura or some aroma. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a little wine now, and that doesn't take a lot. What we're trying to do is simply deglaze the pan. All of those bits of flavor and we'll reduce that down a little bit. You can see perhaps how that's starting to brown. It's pulling up the bits of food that's stuck to the pan. It's called deglazing, and now it's going to reduce somewhat and go ahead and make us a nice lovely sauce. When we add the butter to this, it will liaison, bring it all together, and a really, really nice dish, especially for a taco. Okay, I'm going to continue to move this until all the butter is melted. And you can see how that sauce thickens with the butter as the alcohol actually attaches to the fats in the butter and thickens itself. And as soon as that's done, I'm going to pour it in a taco. And there we have it, Scampi Taco. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.